Hey, what's up, guys? It's Dan, Crypto Camacho here. And I was just thinking how cryptocurrency is going to change or disrupt the social order of things to come. And why do I say that? Because what's going to happen is people will start using cryptocurrencies for different things, right? There are now like 1,200 cryptocurrencies. In a couple of years, there will probably be 100,000, I don't know, tens of thousands of different cryptocurrencies at least. And people are going to start using these cryptocurrencies, these peer-to-peer enablers, if you will, to complete transactions, all different kinds of transactions, right? Transactions financially, buying something, buying and selling, lending, loaning something, gaining something, gifting something, doing something in business, all different types of transactions, right? And certain institutions and companies are not going to be needed anymore. Title companies to show that you have ownership for something, right? Any type of title company where you show ownership for something or they keep track of that ownership, it won't be needed anymore because that'll happen all within the blockchain. It'll happen all within whatever technology we have at the time, right? And today we have blockchain, we have Tangle, which is a new technology similar to blockchain, but very different approach. And some say it's much, much better, more scalable than blockchain. And there's more that's going to come, right? And people are going to start doing these transactions through these cryptocurrencies, through these different protocols and different systems, and it will essentially eliminate the need for any of these third-party institutions, such as title companies, such as central banks, right? The central bank monitors, regulates U.S. fiat currency, the U.S. dollar, right? That's what the Federal Reserve regulates right now. They print dollars, they make more money over time, they set tax rates, or they help influence setting tax rates. They set monetary policy, which basically means how much we can lend to people, how much banks can hold in terms of cash, how much of that cash they could lend out. They change interest rates to buy houses, to get loans. They do all kinds of different things like that, and we aren't going to need them anymore because if we don't use the dollar, if people just stop using the dollar or any currency, any fiat currency for that matter, and started using cryptocurrencies instead, there would be no need for fiat currency, right? If there's no need for fiat currency, there's no need for a Federal Reserve. If there's no need for a Federal Reserve, how do you maintain a government? In a very, very different way, right? Today, a government is maintained by keeping social order, right? Social order is preserved, governments are fine, they do whatever they want to do. Once social order breaks down and is disrupted, then all of a sudden, the governments, the powers to be, can't just do what they want to do, right? Because the public is having an issue with it. They have to get the military to say, okay, go and fix that issue over there, settle it down. They establish social order again, right? That's how it works. And that's how governments work. And part of social order is making sure everybody has enough food and water and whatever to eat, right? And the way you get food and water and something to eat is by buying it with dollars, with fiat currency, right? And so if you don't need fiat currency, but you can still buy food and water, you can still buy a house, you can still buy and do whatever you want to do on a daily basis, you don't really need this other stuff, right? So imagine a world where that actually happens, where people start transacting in these cryptocurrencies, whether it's Bitcoin or something else in the future. They're going to start transacting with these currencies, right? They're going to transact on their phones, they're going to transact on their computers, they're going to transact wherever with whatever devices they have, machine to machines, they're going to transact, right? And when this happens, it's going to start lessening the need for fiat currency. Slowly, it's going to be very slow at first, right? Slowly, people are going to start adopting these cryptocurrencies, and they're going to start seeing the power of them. They're going to start seeing really why they're so disruptive and why they can be used for so many different applications. And they're going to start moving from dollars to cryptocurrencies or whatever other fiat currency they may use in their country, and they're going to start using cryptocurrencies. And the more and more applications are developed, the more and more the more and more people adopt cryptocurrency, the more and more people are going to want to spend or transact with that cryptocurrency. And so the more and more business opportunities are going to pop up over time, right? Because people in the business world are going to say, man, all these people want to use their cryptocurrencies to do X, Y, or Z, right? Things we haven't even thought of. I'm going to build a software that leverages these cryptocurrency technologies to make that application possible for that person, right? And that's going to happen. All these business people are going to create all these different types of applications and ways to use your cryptocurrency, right? Ways to spend it, ways to transact with it, ways to preserve information with it, ways to monetize the data on it. Like all of these different business models and ways of monetizing and using cryptocurrencies is going to start happening, right? Right now, it's already being done. The insurance companies are using blockchain. They're starting to test with it. Banks are starting to test it, right? Um, you know, Smart contracts with Ethereum are being used, right, at different companies. Microsoft, Bosch, Microsoft, a couple of Volkswagen, a couple of other big name companies, Cisco, are now starting to partner with the IOTA guys, right? IOTA coin. They're starting to partner with them to use and adopt their Tangle technology, right? To make it available on their marketplaces because they know people want to use it because they see value in it. They see value and potential of creating business opportunities on top of it. So this is going to happen. People are going to start using this. And then they're going to realize, look, I don't even need to be part of this other system. I don't even need to be part of the fiat currency system. Like, I don't even need to participate in it. I could just opt out of participating in it, right? I mean, imagine if you can buy everything with Bitcoin. If you can buy bread, if you could buy a car, if you could buy a house, if you could buy, entertainment, travel, whatever. If you could just do that with Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency, you wouldn't need dollars anymore. You would not need dollars. So you would not need to pay taxes on dollars because you wouldn't need dollars. You wouldn't use them. You would be using this digital system that is just literally numbers going back between different parties, and you could completely opt out of the fiat system, right? Or whatever government you're in, you could just kind of opt out of that system. Say you want to buy a house. Right now, you can't easily buy a house with like Bitcoin or other altcoins, right, or other cryptocurrencies. In the future, you will be able to. You will be able to go to a person and you will be able to make a transaction with that person over Bitcoin, over some sort of cryptocurrency, and all of the information around that transaction, who owns the house, who it was transferred, from to, the fees and everything associated with the contract you entered, all of that type of information will be encoded in a blockchain. It will be taken away from like a title company, from a whatever type of insurance company, from all these like closing companies and closing houses, right? It's going to take all of that away, and that we aren't going to need them anymore. And so if we don't need them anymore, we completely opt out of that system as well, right? And so you're going to start to see in the years to come. I don't know when this is going to happen, but in the years to come, you'll start to see people opting out of using these different institutions because they will start to see the potential and the ability to achieve the same goal using cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies, right? If you can go and store something on a blockchain that's decentralized and spread over thousands or millions of computers, it's not going to go away. That contract encoded in that blockchain that's stored decentrally across thousands or millions of computers isn't going to go away. If one computer goes away and the copy gets lost, the contract's on another million computers, right? So that's the power of this stuff. All of that contractual information can be encoded into the blockchain, right? So you don't need a title company to say, yes, this transaction happened on this date and here's the parties involved and here's how much money was transacted. You don't need that. You can just go back to the blockchain and you could use a tool, an application, a software to interpret what's on that blockchain, right? What the contract says. And you can completely opt out of using a title company. You completely opt out of using a lender. You completely opt out of using a real estate agent. You completely opt out of using a bank because you transact in Bitcoin and you can maybe get a loan from another decentralized cryptocurrency somewhere else where millions of people are funding that loan, right? So the sky is really the limit on this stuff, guys. And I really want you to think about how Bitcoin, and not just Bitcoin, how cryptocurrencies, this new technology blockchain, Tangle, how it's going to change the world. I mean, it's really going to change the world. It's going to change how society is structured, right? It's going to change institutions that we have trusted, believed in, and held close to us for a very long time, right? Maybe some of them we've hated, but it's going to change the dynamic of those institutions. It's going to change the function of what they do. It's going to change whether or not they exist or not, right? It's going to put a lot of them out of business, frankly. I don't think they're going to all go away. I think a lot of them will adapt to the landscape. They'll adapt in one form or another. Maybe a title company will then become a software company that provides a blockchain, type of cryptocurrency that you can store your information on, and maybe you want to use that blockchain. And maybe you do, and maybe they charge a fee to use it, right? Or per transaction, there's a fee or something like that, right? And that's what's going to happen. So it's going to completely take out these institutions or the the need to rely on them, so to say, and it's going to let you rely on whatever you want. It's going to give you freedom to rely on whatever you want, right? Whatever trusted blockchain or whatever you feel is the right approach. I don't know how it's all going to play out, but it's certainly going to be an interesting ride. Let me know your thoughts. Really curious to know how you, how you think about this, and if you think it's going to create social change, social disruption, or anything else. And I'll leave you with a thought. Social disruption is a term used in sociology to describe the attention or breakdown of social life, often in a community setting. For example, closing a community grocery store might cause social disruption in a community by removing a meeting ground or community members to develop interpersonal relationships and community solidarity. Well, social breakdown is going to happen on a different level, right? It's not going to be a grocery store closing. It's going to be a bank closing. It's going to be a title company closing. It's going to be institutions that we rely on because we are, forced to preserve trust between transactions that happen between different parties of people, right? We're not going to need that. That's going to happen on the blockchain. I'm Dan from CryptoCamacho.com. I will see you next video. Oh, and don't forget, subscribe. That red button, click it. Subscribe. Talk to you next time, guys. Later.